Hey guys, and welcome back to the Flack podcast. That was a typical hey guys, because this is about the fourth time we've tried to do this intro.
Intros are hard. Hi everyone.
Hello. So my name is Hal, as always, and as always,
your name is Hal.
Yeah, sometimes it's Terry.
Hiya Terry. Welcome to the Class Flack podcast. With
No, it's not today. Not today.
No,
it is Hal today.
it's Hal. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we're welcome into the Class Flack podcast with Terry and Jemima.
Yes. Hi, Jemima.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's lovely to be here, Hal.
Yeah. Good.
Terry.
God. So this is the third episode, so I'm not going to stay on the explanation for too long.
If you want to know what we're up to, why are you joining episode 3? There's 2 fantastic episodes you could flick back on your podcaster of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to them all in full before you join us here.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing storyline. You need the background before you can hop in. At this point, it's very serialized.
Yeah, it's the most ambitious crossover since. I can't think of a.
We're in 2020 and you can't think of an ambitious crossover.
No, really can't.
Not one at all pops to mind.
Jason versus Predator.
Jason versus Predator?
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
No.
Oh. I mean, it doesn't surprise me for a second if it would be.
I was thinking of Alien versus Predator
or Jason versus Freddy.
Yeah.
No,
Jason versus Predator.
Jason versus Predator.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was the most ambitious, but not anymore, because now we have Jemima. That was your name, right?
Let's say yes.
Yeah. And
Jemima versus Terry.
Terrence. Actually.
Terrence. Sorry.
So, yeah. No.
Are you going by your full name these days?
Terry is my dad's name.
I will. I'll make sure. Sorry to.
Yeah.
So your dad's name's Terry, but your name's Terrence.
Yeah. I take myself a bit more seriously.
No, understandably.
Yeah.
As you should, a man of your caliber.
Mm-hmm.
As you're well aware from having listened to the last 2 episodes of this podcast. Hopefully. No. If you're still listening now and you haven't, you had strict instructions.
Some people jump in at the most the latest episode, Joe. That's how.
You know what? If you're doing that, fine, but I disapprove.
Yeah. If you are doing that, so this podcast is broken into 3 little segments.
Mm-hmm.
Our first segment is whoever is hosting, and today I'm at Joe's.
You are? Jemima,
Sorry, yeah.
If you don't mind.
Is it actually Jemima on the deed, on the lease?
It gets a little complicated, and to be honest, I don't really think I want to go into the ins and outs of my...
Do you cover both bases and just call yourself Joe Mima?
Just call myself Joe Mima. We are at my house today. Welcome to my house.
You've got furniture this time.
I do, yeah. We've already flashed it out in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Got a full house on. That's an inside joke. If you haven't listened to the first episode of the podcast, you won't get it. See what you'll be missing?
Yeah.
Head back and listen to them.
Yeah.
So welcome to my house.
As we're at Joe's house, he has the ability, nay, the privilege.
I do have the privilege
to, as we're on your home turf, to let loose and to really.
I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to have a rant. We're going to start with the Flack of the Class Flack podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for a rant. So, Hal, my rant is going to be a little bit of a spoiler for our third segment of the week, but I'll mix it up because it's just been a bit of what I've been up to this week.
Gotcha.
I have been replaying an old favourite game of mine. I've been replaying Final Fantasy X.
Oh, okay.
Which is, in all essence, a fantastic game, and I have an awful lot of love for it, and I have a huge nostalgia goggles for it. I have a bit of a relationship with this game. I didn't buy it new when it was out because I was a kid and couldn't afford PlayStation 2 games when they were new.
What year did it come out?
That's a piece of information that I should have to hand. I want to say like 2002, 2003, something like that. If whilst I'm ranting, if you can let me know.
Yep, I will.
So I didn't buy it new when it came out. I bought it pre-owned a few years later, and kind of fell in love with the game. I'm a big fan of the Final Fantasy series. Final Fantasy IX, the game preceding this, is probably my favourite of all time, like my favourite game of all time. Have a lot of love for it. So when 10 came out, I was really, really keen to play it, and we kind of sat down as a family even, and it was a good family game to work and play through.
Okay.
Great characters, great world, great gameplay. But the disc that I had had a scratch on it, and I could get about a third of the way into the game. And then it would get to the same cutscene every time. I say every time because boy did we replay it over and over just to see if just this time it would get past it.
Yeah. This time.
This time for sure.
This
time. Every other time it's got to literally the same frame of the cutscene and then it's cut out. But this time we'll get past it. Obviously never did, so I never finished the game. The first time that I properly got a ways through was only a few years back, and it was actually on a copy of a game that I had rented from Love Film. If you remember, Love Film was a thing that you could do.
Yeah, it's
kind of
it's still a
pre-Netflix.
thing, I think.
I think it got bought out by Netflix, and then they just
And
stopped
absorbed.
doing DVDs.
Yeah.
But
you know,
they-
Netflix still do DVD rentals.
Do they actually?
They actually do. Yeah.
That is completely news to me.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
I mean, that's my segment out of the way.
No, that's great. That was quick. We'll move straight on to this. In fact, we're already in this week, so this will be a short one.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Yeah, so the copy that I had rented from Love Film, and obviously you were the kind of you've got one disc at a time with them, and you're paying monthly for it. So I didn't want to spend.
That's a multi-disc game, isn't it?
We're on PS2 by this point. They can
right,
fit that all into one disc. The last 3 games were 3 to 4 discs each.
Yeah.
Similar size, which is basically what we're going to get to.
Yep.
But they fit it onto one disc.
Gotcha.
But because I was kind of limited to only, I only had one disc at a time, I didn't actually manage to finish it, even then, before I shipped it back and got something else instead. And the reason I didn't finish it is because I got to the end of the storyline of Final Fantasy X, and then there is a ton of endgame content and side quests and mini games and super bosses and things to fight that you're like, obviously you'll go and do those things before you finish the storyline, because once you finish the game, there's no going back. There's no
some games do it differently.
in this game.
particular
In this game, there's no going back. You get to the end of the game, you beat the final boss, and you're done.
Yeah.
You can't revisit that save file at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I didn't complete it. This week I've run through it again, and I've actually gone through and completed the game, and which is fantastic. It's a game from my childhood. I finally ticked the box.
Yep.
But oh my god, was it not worth it for that end game content?
Right.
And that's what I want to rant about, because Final Fantasy X does a particular style of prolonging a game to make you keep playing that game for almost no enjoyment whatsoever that I've seen in other games before.
A grind, you could say.
It is such a grind. It's not just a grind. There's definite elements of it that are grind. I'm going to get to that in a minute, because it's one of the bits that really gripes me. But I find it really odd, because it's a game that balances, has a really solid difficulty curve all the way through.
Yeah.
You make you feel like you're progressing. It has an excellent advancement mechanic in the sphere grid. I know you're not a Final Fantasy man.
No, I've only ever played one. To show you how little I know about the Final Fantasy games, it was only just before buying 15 that I learnt that pretty much every game has a separate continuity.
Yes, you were expecting 14 games of
Final. Wait, which Final Fantasy 40? That doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, it's just not final. It's just lies. No, turns out it's the Final Fantasy of that one particular.
Yeah, each one is a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, in fact, pretty
until
much.
They do the next one.
Yeah.
Except this one never fucking ends.
Right.
So they just the entire game, it goes through, like I say, solid characters, really good gameplay, a really good. I'd say really good, just a completely fine, unnoticeable difficulty arc that keeps you playing through the game. And then they just seem to completely forget how to create a challenge. And they do it in a few different ways. One of them is the grind.
Yep.
In order to beat the last bosses of this game, the actual super bosses of the game, you literally need to max out the stats of all your characters in order to do it. To put that kind of into context, I was playing through a game. I created 2 different save files. I got to the point of the end of the game where I was going to go into the end game content and then go into the last area.
Yep.
And I created a game where I was going to just go into the last area and ignore everything else. So I
see.
I kind of split it off at a certain point. At the point where I split it off before I was starting it.
Was that kind of like a deliberate experiment to see what...
It was.
It was like if you just blitz the storyline without doing any of
and I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah.
I won't go on. I won't go on. If you've played this game, you know there's some other things. I could talk about Blitzball for a year.
I know about Blitzball.
You know about Blitzball. People know about Blitzball.
Everyone knows about Blitzball.
Blitzball is a fantastic concept, and the first time you play it, it's great. But it has the exact opposite issue in that I played a sports minigame through on 800% speed, basically doing something else at the same time, won every match 4-0.
Yeah.
Without needing to put any effort in at all. And in order to get the ultimate weapon, you have to complete. Oh, I can't remember the exact number, but it's over 100 games of this, probably well over 100 games of this.
Yep.
Which are all 10 minutes long,
Hmm.
plus stoppages, which are constantly. The end result is there's a game that I have been avoiding completing for many, many years that I finally did, and I absolutely regret taking the time to do it.
So basically, you're saying the end game of this game that you've never played is not worth.
Is not worth me not missing
No.
out on the actual conclusion of the story,
Yeah.
which is the best part of this game.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha.
So I missed out on knowing how the game ends because I was saving myself to put hours and hours, and I mean hours. If you look at it was about 40 hours. Obviously, some of the game was sped up, and the clock speeds up when you speed up, so this is not hugely accurate. But it was about 40 hours to get to the end game content, and that save file put me on to 150 hours. And none of those hours were worth playing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It was just a mess.
I mean, the closest thing I can kind of like compare this to in like my, you saw me Google it.
I saw you Google it. I was going to ask because I'm ranting about this particular game, but really I'm ranting about that style.
Yeah. So what I was the only thing I can really compare this to is the first time I ever played through Mass Effect 3. Obviously it's the combination of a trilogy of games. 3 being the
right. That's why it's. I always wondered. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense why it's called Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, that was a bit of a redundant sentence, really.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Thank you for your insight.
So, at the end of this game, you go for this big final confrontation, and throughout the entirety of the game, you're presented with this figure called the Galactic Readiness rating.
Excellent.
And there's like a certain cutoff where it goes, oh, don't go to the end into the end game, past that cutoff point where there is the point of no return that you were talking about until this mark in this empty bar is filled. But that bar's really low. The mark in the bar is really low compared to this whole bar. So, I'm a bit of a completionist when it comes to video games.
You fill the bar.
I filled the bar, and the only way you can actually fill the bar is not only completing all the side missions, doing all the character missions, and all of the stuff that's in game, also doing these just awful horde missions, where you're in like a multiplayer map and you have to kill a certain amount of enemies, and it's basically just a way of reusing multiplayer assets within the campaign. They also had this mobile app,
right,
called, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was like the N7 being like the special forces branch that the main character is part of. I think it was like N7 Command or something like that. And basically it was the galactic map, and you had the opportunity. What you had to do is distribute, just send your fleet out on these missions, and then there would be like a 4-hour countdown. And then you could do it again.
So,
and there'd be a 4-hour, and then each like
mobile gaming stuff.
And like each segment of the map had a percentage, and then when that percentage of each part of the map reached 100%, it would then add to your galactic readiness in the actual game.
Excellent.
And we're talking weeks.
Oh, no.
Weeks of every 4 hours checking my phone.
This is what I think is I think this problem has lessened in its prevalence in different games, but when it's there, it's only more tedious.
Yeah, so tedious. Like doing all the side missions, all of these like little bits in the game, they got repetitive, it got annoying after a time. Doing that bit on my phone, and I'd literally start of a shift at work, end of a shift at work, middle of the night. Oh, I can send off another fleet off to this part of the galaxy.
It doesn't surprise me for a moment that you spent your weeks doing that.
I put up a post on Reddit when I finally completed it, and I got so many comments saying, I think you're the only person who's done this. And I don't want to I didn't have the ending for Mass Effect 3 spoiled for me at the time, but the marketing for that fucking game. Now, I really like Mass Effect 3 all the way through up to the end game part of it. I thought it was a fantastic game. The missions were great. It was crafted really well. The story up to that point was really good. But my fucking God, the marketing were like, oh, everything culminates to this. Everything you've done in the past two games.
Not short games.
No, very long, fully fledged BioWare RPGs. All culminates to this. And then it basically ended in a dialogue tree. A three-choice dialogue tree. Pick your ending. Do you want the green ending, the red ending, or the blue? I mean, I'm not going to dwell too long on a game that's fucking hell, it must be like 10 years old now.
Yeah, I mean, I literally just spent what felt like about 3 hours complaining about a game that's 20 years old now. Yeah. But yeah, I understand that.
But yeah, tedious, what would you call it? Like pre-end game? Because it's not the end game.
Yeah.
Like...
It feels like post-game content, but the game hasn't actually ended yet. Yeah. Yeah. That level of thing.
And that kind of trickery into saying... Did you ever finish the game on the save file where you didn't do all of that?
Yeah, so I was just about to say that. Yeah, it made no difference at all. Yeah. There's an area that has some harder general enemies, but I didn't really struggle to beat any of them. And then there is a couple of bosses that are, very decent bosses, well thought out. But yeah, just didn't struggle at all going through quite a regular. I mean, it was a run through where I'd picked up all this stuff, but nothing there was like hugely overpowered. Nothing was ridiculous. Yeah. There were a decent level of challenge with a satisfying ending. But it was completely sullied by the fact that I did this. I also went through and completed it on the game when I was completely overpowered. Yeah. And one shot not only every enemy but every endgame boss. That's not that to me.
That's not
no
fun.
Reason.
There's no challenge to that.
And I'll compare it to the previous game in Final Fantasy IX because that they did really, really well. And it's not a perfect game, but it holds a really special place in my heart. But there is one major super boss who is quite often talked about as one of the hardest in the series, and the reason it is because it's smartly designed, will anticipate what you do and counter in a way that makes you have to actively play the game. Yeah. And then, but you don't have to be max level for it. You can complete that and not ruin the rest of the game for yourself. And it feels like an accomplishment when you do. It's not an accomplishment to beat the super bosses in Final Fantasy X, because you've maxed out your characters, and the strategy is use the ability that means that you don't die, and then use your most powerful attacks. Yeah. And everyone has access to the same things because everyone's now learned each other's abilities. Yeah. And that's not challenging, and it's not fun, and it's not worth it. It's
almost undoing the game.
Yeah.
The gameplay loop by making you do tedium.
Yeah. That's literally what it is.
I suppose that's the comparison I can kind of pull. I mean, regardless of the fact that I didn't really particularly enjoy the game ending for Mass Effect 3. Yeah. I spent weeks wanting to finish the fucking game, but couldn't, and like avoiding internet, avoiding reviews, avoiding pretty much everything, so I didn't spoil the ending because I was.
And then that was the ending that you got.
Even beside that, because I was chipping away at this thing, I did the exact same thing you did in terms of like branching save files. I went back and played the ending again with the save file that was just past the mark, and it was exactly the same.
Yeah. So literally everything that you did was completely pointless.
Exactly. Yeah. I had a few better weapons. A couple of my characters were a slightly higher level, but not by much, because I'm, as I said, completionist. I've like done quite a bit of like the side quest as the game had progressed. But I could have, finished the game when I got there, basically. And not wasted weeks chiseling away at that fucking phone app.
Exactly how I feel about this. Yeah. But except it was only... I mean, I spent this week and I played it on fast forward and I cheated my way through all the really difficult bits. Yeah. But I'm glad I did. I don't regret cheating my way through that at all. It wouldn't have been fun to do.
On a similar note,
Yeah.
I tried to 100% Mass Effect Andromeda. Got stuck at 90 something percent because the game glitched. And
no.
And it was saying I hadn't done a mission I had done, but then I couldn't go and do it. So that's 2 games in the Mass Effect series that
have robbed you of your life.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Right, I could literally rant about this all day, and when we turn off the mics, I probably will.
Yep.
But in the interest of not boring you all to death,
yep.
I feel like we should move on to our second segment. So, Hal, as the visitor, would you like to introduce our second segment here?
Okay, so yes, as I am visitor, I have to bring something to the table. I have to bring something to you.
Yes.
To enlighten you, to improve your mood after your rant. So
I was hoping for a bottle of wine, but
I mean, nothing improves the mood than hard knowledge.
Let's put my learning cap on.
Learning cap. Yep, it's time to bring the class of the Class Flack podcast,
and that means it's time for
learning. It's going to be a very video game oriented one.
Maybe in future we should coordinate this bit.
Yeah, maybe just a tad. Sorry, Mum. Just don't listen to this one, Mother. If you've made it through this segment, just turn off. So, Nintendo's a thing, isn't it?
Oh, Nintendo's a thing.
Yeah.
Are you aware of deja vu here?
Yeah. Are you aware of them?
Yes, they are familiar to me in some ways. Yes,
Nintendo,
in some ways.
Nintendo.
They made cards in the 1890s. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then went out of business.
Yeah. And then
did nothing since.
Didn't do anything since.
Ain't do nothing.
So I just had a stroke. This kind of ties into this week. Except it doesn't, because we're recording late. And
yes.
Yeah, very late. By this week, I mean, actually, nearly 3 weeks ago.
We're not recording that late.
Yeah, I know. It was Nintendo celebrated a rather important anniversary this month. It is the 35th anniversary of their beloved Mario.
The beloved Mario.
Their beloved Mario. 35 years young.
Is that someone that works there, or?
Yeah, it's their plumber.
Ah, yeah.
So,
go on.
Yeah, so I thought, he's good old Mario. I thought I'd bring you some history, bring you some facts on the old boy.
Wonderful,
and see if I can find, because this one's a bit. Obviously, you play games, right?
I play games, yeah. I think maybe to a lesser extent than you do, but I do game. I own games. I mean, we're sat in a room surrounded by old video game consoles here.
Yeah. I mean, surrounded by, they were just in the corner.
Well,
is there one behind me?
It makes it sound more interesting. There's one up there.
That's a grand piano.
That's a baby grand piano.
I mean, you game, so I'm hoping that I can teach you something about our old boy Mario.
Okay.
So I've deliberately not gone through like an entire history of Mario.
That would be a 6-hour podcast.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of things.
He has done a lot of things. But, I've kind of looked up his origins, looked up some more interesting facts.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can find some. And I've got a quiz at the end, because I always have a quiz.
I love a quiz.
You do love a quiz. So, good old Mario, created by Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yep.
Do you know that?
I did know that.
Oh, okay.
Do you want us to do a little tick as we go ahead?
Yeah, I know, actually.
Facts that I know. Oh, yeah, you've got it there.
Yeah, you got that. No, I will not show you.
Don't show me.
And voiced by good old Charles Martinet. Yeah. First appearance.
First appearance was in Donkey Kong.
It was.
In 1982.
Oh, very close.
Yeah.
1981.
1981.
So when Mr. Miyamoto was devising Donkey Kong, did you know that he originally wanted to use Popeye?
I actually did know that.
You did know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. This is really stupid. So when he was...
I only learned that the other day, but yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. So Mario's first appearance in Donkey Kong, you do play as Mario, and even though the titular, the eponymous Donkey Kong is the main villain.
He is the main villain. Yeah.
You're a construction site. You've got a climb some things, jump
It's
over
the
some
classic
barrels.
monkey throws barrels, jump over barrels, rescue princess from monkey
Yeah, exactly.
situation. Yeah,
But
we've all
originally,
been there.
Miyamoto wanted to do this game involving Bluto, Popeye, and Olive Oil. And when he couldn't get the rights,
Mm-hmm.
he instead created his own characters.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Bluto, he obviously created Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Popeye, he created Man.
Yep.
And
Was he not Jumpman at that point?
no, not yet.
Oh.
No, I'll get onto that.
We get onto the origins of
He was
his
an
famous
unnamed
moniker Jumpman.
Yeah, in the original Japanese release, he didn't have a name.
Excellent.
And who would eventually become Pauline,
Mm-hmm.
who we see in various later things. She was called Lady.
Oh, inventive
So you have
names.
Donkey Kong, unnamed, and Lady.
Classic characters survive to this day.
Yeah, I think when it came to releasing the game in the West, that's when we're like, well, we need to give him some name, and he came up with Jumpman.
Yeah, it's
It's a man who jumps.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, he's a creative genius, is Miyamoto. We'll come back to him quite a bit.
Excellent.
Yeah, and Mario, actually, the first instance of Mario comes from third-party sales brochures for the original arcade Donkey Kong. So it wasn't even Miyamoto who came up with the name.
So it was just some rando in marketing.
Yeah,
Excellent.
exactly. And Miyamoto was like, "Oh, I'll have that," because originally he was going to be used as kind of like a blank slate character. Miyamoto wanted to make like loads of games, and anytime he made like his own IP,
Yes.
he just wanted a blank slate character, a la kind of like Alfred Hitchcock had like a blank slate man.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So Miyamoto's original name for him was Mr. Video.
I kind of love that.
Yeah.
I kind of wish he was still called Mr. Video.
Yeah.
That's such a early 80s name that I just really wish it stayed on to this day.
So shortly, 2 years actually, after Donkey Kong, we have Donkey Kong Jr. Did you know that the current iteration of Donkey Kong is actually Donkey Kong Jr.?
I thought the current iteration of Donkey Kong was Donkey Kong Jr. Jr.
Oh, that's a good point.
Did I teach you a thing accidentally? In fairness, I believe that it may be disputed.
I think it is disputed because the original Donkey Kong is Cranky Kong.
Cranky Kong, yeah.
In Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure Donkey Kong Jr. is Donkey Kong as we know him today.
I think he may simultaneously be his son and his grandson, depending on who you ask.
Just a quick editor's note on this. It turns out the current iteration of Donkey Kong is the grandson of the original Donkey Kong, who is Cranky Kong. Donkey Kong Jr. remains a separate entity within the continuity. Also, the game I'm referring to with Cranky Kong isn't Donkey Kong 64, it's actually Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong 64 is a 3D platformer for the Nintendo 64 that came much later. So I was wrong. Take that, Pastel. Do your bloody research next time, mate. But yeah, in Donkey Kong Jr., this time the villain is Mario, and it's the only time he's been the villain.
Is that the only game?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So that was 1983. Shortly after that was Mario Bros.
Yes.
And also the first appearance of his brother Luigi.
So this is Mario Bros, not Super Mario Bros.
No, Mario Bros. So this is an arcade game where they were plumbers living in New York, and basically the game is them just defeating monsters in the sewers. Originally, Mario was a carpenter.
Oh.
Because Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. was set on a building site.
That makes sense.
But
he was the builder.
He was the builder.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then when he was changed to a plumber in Mario Bros. Because it's set underground in the New York sewers.
That makes sense. Like all plumbers do. Live in the sewers.
Well, no, it was set in the sewers.
Right.
So he didn't live in the sewers. He lived in New York.
So he was fixing the sewage pipes.
You know, funnily enough.
In the sewers.
Yes. And there were monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funnily enough, quite a lot of pipes in the sewers. And what do plumbers do? They fix pipes.
Fix pipes.
Yeah.
Flawless logic.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then things went really weird in 1985 with the introduction of the Mushroom Kingdom, King Koopa, and Princess Toadstool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence the many like fan reactions of, it's all basically just Mario and Luigi from the original Mario Bros, Mario Bros, just tripping on mushrooms.
You know, I love that as
Yeah.
a concept. That explains so much of
Yeah.
the Mushroom Kingdom and the Mario universe.
Mm-hmm.
If it is just two New York plumbers,
Yeah.
finding something in the sewers and having a real bad trip over it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just toxic fumes from the underground. Yeah, it's quite strange, the actual difference between 1983 with Mario Bros and then 1985 Super Mario Bros.
Mm-hmm.
Like the difference in setting, like two plumber brothers in New York to
Mm-hmm.
Mushroom Kingdom, King Koopa, which obviously becomes Bowser, and then
Yep.
Princess Toadstool becomes Princess Peach. Just the way that whole universe has just snowballed. Since
Complete
then.
lateral move, if you ask me. Makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. That's if you gave me option 1 and like make a sequel,
Yeah,
I'd probably jump straight to mushrooms
yeah, exactly.
and a
You
kingdom
just,
and a princess.
that's what should happen when every time you have a really solid IP,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to make a move, just slap Super in the front of it, and then just get
I mean, you've described the 80s.
yeah, just trip out an
You've described
LSD.
Nintendo marketing strategy for everything they made for like 15 years.
Exactly. So in 1993, there was the famous live action film.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have not. I really want to.
I reckon I've only seen the first 10 minutes of it, and I want to see the rest of it. I reckon we should do like a bonus thing.
We should do a live commentary.
live commentary. Exactly.
Absolutely. I'm 100% on board for watching
Yeah.
the
It's
Super
a-
Mario Brothers.
It's a wonderful film, starring Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
Mm-hmm.
Reportedly, they have confessed that they were basically pissed the entire time.
From clips that I've seen of that movie, that does not surprise me in
No,
the slightest.
apparently it was just hell to film. It overran by months. It was just an absolutely awful film.
Mhm.
But was revealed for the first time in that film that his full name is Mario Mario.
Mario and his brother Luigi Mario.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there were a couple of different instances of that being kind of not confirmed, but like backed up.
Yeah.
Charles Martinet in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
Comic-Con,
Voice of Mario, yeah.
the voice of Mario,
Yeah.
yeah, basically agreed with this, backed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, a couple months later, after that was the most recent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, up to that point, the most recent kind of saying, yes, his name is Mario. Satoru Iwata,
Yes.
the president of, or should I say, the late president of
Yes.
Nintendo, rest his soul, said, no, that's ridiculous. His name is not Mario.
Quite rightly
He
so.
just doesn't have a last name. He's just
Mario. He's
yeah.
like Cher.
Yeah, it's not eponymous. What's it? Mononym. It's a mononym.
Yes.
Yeah. And Miyamoto backed this up a couple weeks later on Twitter.
Okay.
Funnily enough, though,
Oh, there's more to the story.
there is more to this. 2 months after Iwata's tragic death in 2015, Miyamoto changed his stance,
Oh.
and once again confirming that his full name is Mario.
So what's happened there is the notoriously jackbooted Satoru Iwata,
Yeah.
famous amongst anyone who knew him as being real hardline,
Yeah.
shut down the conspiracy
Yeah.
that he was called Mario,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as Miyamoto was free to correct him,
Mm-hmm.
he jumped at the opportunity.
Yep.
Stabbed him right in the back.
That's some real like dirty dealing on such a stupid thing. Yeah. So we also touched on Charles Martinet being the voice.
Yes.
Now it's commonly believed
Mm-hmm.
that Charles Martinet's first appearance as Mario was in probably one of the most famous Mario games, Super Mario 64.
Yes, he says, "It's a me,
It's a me,
Mario."
There you go.
Forgot it for a minute.
Yeah, sorry, I had to
Yeah.
cue it. Come on, man, keep up. It's a me, a Mario.
Yes.
But actually, so that was in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, 4 years previous to this
Yeah.
was his actual first credited first voice casting.
I think appearance counts.
Yeah, was that the right word?
Let's use the phrase.
Yeah.
It works enough.
So in 1992, there was a lovely game called Mario Teaches Typing.
Oh, yeah.
And in the PC version, basically in this game, Mario, right, he teaches you how to type.
Right.
It was a little bit too early for me. You've seen my typing. Horrendous.
Yes, Mario clearly has not taught you to type.
No, it's a little bit too early. So I was also born in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
born. Yeah, Mario's
Mario's
teacher's
just scoffing
typing.
at the idea that you were born in 92.
No.
Born. I was made, darling.
No, it was more like scoffing at the idea that Mario teacher's typing was born in 1992.
That makes more sense, but I much prefer my version of it.
Yeah. Born. Designed, more like. So in the PC version of Mario teacher's typing was actually Charles Martinet's first appearance as Mario.
Well, there you go. There's a
fun
little
fact.
nugget. Oh, more fun facts.
More fun facts. This is just fun
Compounding
facts
fun fact on a fun fact.
Yeah, Charles Martinet not only voices Mario, but also marries, also voices Luigi,
Yes, that
Wario,
makes sense. Oh,
Waluigi, Toad, and all of the Koopas.
That's almost
Koopalings.
all of the characters.
Basically, yes.
It's just everyone except for Bowser and Peach.
Yeah.
Where'd he go, Charles?
Where's he go? Yeah. No wonder. And
Really monopolise on that franchise there.
And he still does.
Yeah. Been doing it for a while now.
Also,
Voicing a 25-year-old plumber.
Final little fun fact before we move on to our pop quiz.
Oh, yes.
In September 2017, Nintendo confirms that Mario was no longer considered a plumber.
Oh.
Due to, and I quote, his various occupations and hobbies.
In fairness, he's got a few.
He does have a few. But then in March in 2018, he was once again listed as a plumber.
Yeah. So they really just haven't got a clue. So really what happened
Have you played any of the games, Joe?
No.
There is absolutely zero consistency.
They stuck with the Mr. Video concept.
Yeah.
Made a blank slate character and then accidentally slapped a personality on him that they have to... Excuse me, Siri. Do you mind? What's beyond your abilities, hon?
Being a blank slate character, I imagine.
God.
All of the abilities of Mr. Video.
Mr. Video.
Yeah.
So they accidentally gave him a personality and now have to occasionally justify some things about him.
Yeah. But I mean, it basically is Nintendo make fun games.
Yeah.
Wanted some consistency amongst all of the fun games that they make.
If they slap a recognisable face on, you'll buy the golf game.
Yeah. They make a golf game. They make a tennis game. They make a driving game. They make a platform game. They teach you typing. They do Tetris, but with tablets. Yeah.
He's a doctor now. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. He was an archaeologist at one point.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. He was a carpenter at one point, and he was a villain once.
Don't
worry about it. And then he
very quickly reformed.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. It's time for a rant.
Thanks for that again. I used to be very kind of like almost. It annoyed me, I think, that there was no consistency. And I think I then grew up and got over myself.
Yeah, it seems like the smart move.
Yeah, and now there are some fun games he's in. There are some games that I don't like that he's in. Yeah. That's fine.
Doesn't matter. There's enough of them.
Yeah.
You'll probably enjoy one of them.
Exactly.
It's a really just throw everything at the wall to see what sticks kind of a business plan.
I don't think even that, because literally everything's sticky. Sticky man.
I'm waiting for you to explain that comment now.
Well, I mean,
it sounded like a joke that I didn't get.
It was more of a joke that they make so many games, Joe.
Yeah, no fair.
Like, there's no kind of what sticks, because they all stick because they
make them anyway.
Yeah, because they have a slimy Italian man at the forefront, and he's a very
really sticky Italian man.
Sticky boy. So let's move on to my pop quiz.
Cannot wait.
Okay,
Can't wait to ace this.
As previously discussed, 1981 first appearance. How many appearances do you think he's actually had? How
are you classifying an appearance of Mario?
Okay, so as part of an ensemble cast, obviously, if he's the main character, a cameo, playable character.
We're including cameos.
Yeah, we're not including vague references.
Okay.
So, for example of a vague reference, he appears in Ocarina of Time as a painting. Right.
Okay.
But
say when he's in the crowd of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Okay. Cool. Otherwise, we're in thousands.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, for instance, if there's an enemy, Link's Awakening's has got loads of Mario enemies for no reason
because they just forgot to make their own assets for that game. Yeah.
Exactly. Strange game. Good game. Strange. He doesn't actually appear in that at all.
Right.
In that game. But yeah.
But there are references to his world.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. But yeah, those don't count. Actual games where he makes a cameo he doesn't have to be a playable character, but is more than just a painting or is in the background or something like that.
So I reckon that's triple figures.
Yes. I will accept to the nearest 5.
To the nearest 5.
Yep.
That's specific.
Yep.
I think it is 268.
268.
Yes.
337.
I was not that far off.
No.
But that is an insane number. That's I like the segment of the podcast where you bring me video game facts and then really big numbers about those video games.
Yeah.
I thought the number of Warriors games was huge.
Yeah.
That's way bigger.
It's way bigger.
That's so big. How are you going to top this?
I know. It's really annoying because if you were to Google how many games has Mario been in, which I did, obviously, as part of researching this, the top hit that Google gives you, and you know how Google sometimes
answers your questions in little boxes,
it says over 200.
Thanks.
And
that's 158 more.
168.
168, sorry, missed out 10 of them.
No, 137.
Those are different numbers. Wildly conflicting.
What did I say? What number did I say? 337.
337.
You guessed 163.
Cool.
Numbers.
Numbers.
But because the article that references is an article from the 25th anniversary,
So
which was
that's
10 years ago, obviously.
They've released a few since then.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
But yeah, 337 actual appearances. The best-selling Super Mario Bros. Game is... I'm going to tell you because...
You can tell me, okay.
It is Super Mario Bros.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
40.24 million copies.
That's
worldwide.
for 1980s. That is a huge number of games.
Very huge. But what about the worst?
The very worst. Is he like a main Mario game? Does it have Mario in the title?
Mario's in the title.
Mario's in the title.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say it's something like Mario Teaches Typing, but it's something more obscure than that.
It's not that obscure, to be honest. I remember this game. Being released.
Can you give me one clue? Can you tell me what platform it's on? Can you tell me what platform it's on?
It's either DS. Yeah, it's DS.
DS. DS. All I know are like the main series ones that definitely won't be the lowest. Won't have sold fewer copies than. For the sake of argument, I'm going to say it's New Super Mario Bros. 2.
No, absolutely not.
I know.
That's one of the best.
I know. That's
not one of the best games. One of the best.
One of the best selling.
Yeah.
I can't name many Mario games on DS.
Do you want to? I'll tell you what. Do you want to give me a ballpark figure? See if you can get close to it. How many copies?
How many copies? So it's 40 million for.
It's the best.
It's
It's
the best.
considerably less than that. I mean, it's less than that, obviously, but it's considerably less.
But it's got Mario in the title.
It's got Mario in the title.
Everyone had a DS. DS games sold quite a lot. Okay.
No, I wouldn't say
No,
that.
everyone had a Wii at the same time. They wouldn't bother with DS.
No, everyone had a DS, but there were a shit
there were
ton of
so
games.
many of them.
So many games.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Not just so many Mario games. There were so many games in total.
Yeah.
A lot of bloatware, a lot of confusion. No one really knew.
I'm
That's
just
why
remembering we did a thing a little while back where we played a couple of very, very dodgy DS games. I can't imagine they sold many copies of the was it the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody we played? And Hamsters with a Z.
Yeah.
Incredible. Had a great time with that.
I think that was part of the reason why you had the new Super Mario Bros. It was to break through the absolute sea of bloatware. This one did not.
I'm going to call it like 2 million.
2 million?
Mm-hmm.
So the worst selling Mario game on record. And so there were a few different categories of this. And there were a couple of versions that released on multiple consoles. So, for instance, there was one that was released on DS and Wii U at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That the Wii U version in particular sold really badly.
Yeah.
This one is a sole release. It was only released on one console, on the NDS, and this is the lowest. It is Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Right. That's two big names.
Minis on the Move. I remember this. It's basically the Mario versus Donkey Kong is a spiritual successor to the original.
The original Donkey Kong. Yeah.
What number did you guess? 2 million.
I guessed 2 million. Am I way off the mark?
8,810.
8,000.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've sold more games than that on eBay.
I think I have as well.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
No, that'd be crazy.
Not at all.
I've not bought that many.
Yeah, no. I remember this game being released.
Do you?
Yeah.
This has never crossed my path before.
No. It's yeah.
It sounds, may I suggest, bad?
The Mario versus Donkey Kong games weren't great.
Mm.
No, the one which I referenced earlier, the NDS and Wii U one was also a Mario versus Donkey Kong
The
game.
3DS and Wii U.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. The 3DS one actually did quite better. I think it did like. I remember. I don't have this figure in front of me because I discounted it, but it was something like 35,000.
Okay. But that's just because at least 3 people owned a 3DS, where there's only one person owned a Wii U.
Yeah. The Wii U, I think it was like 3,000 or something.
Ridiculous.
But I discounted that because it had multiple.
Because it had multiple.
Yeah.
Understandable.
All right. Now, similar to last time I did a Teachful, I paid a visit to Metacritic.
Yes.
So, best
Top Mario game.
top Mario game.
People have such nostalgia goggles. It's the first one. It's Super Mario Bros.
It's not. So what I've got
Okay.
is the top 3 scores,
Okay.
and each score has multiple entries, if that makes sense. So the top
right,
score, so 3 games share the top score.
Okay.
2 games share the second top score, and then 3 games share the third top score.
I'm glad we got there in the end.
Yeah, that was a
That really took
mouthful.
it.
So what
We'll
I'll
have
do?
a nap after this.
What?
We'll have a nap after
yeah,
this.
We will. Together.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward. So yeah, guess the score for the first one. No, actually no. Guess the game for the top.
It's a game for the top 3. So the top 3 spots are Super Mario Brothers, either 1 or 3. It's not going to be both. Super Mario 64. I don't think Odyssey made it to the top spot, but I reckon it's in the top 3. So, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Okay, so you're almost entirely wrong.
Excellent. I'm
so
thrilled.
Sharing the top spot at 97 is Super Mario Galaxy.
I was
Debating
edging towards Galaxy. Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy 2
Wow.
and Super Mario Odyssey.
Really?
Yeah, the top 3 are those.
Wow. Okay.
Almost basically the newest games.
This genuinely surprises me.
The
Very rare for a sequel to do as well as,
I mean,
equally well as. It's either much better or much worse normally.
I've not played Galaxy 2. I've been playing. We'll get onto it in this week. But I've been playing. Spoilers. I've been playing Galaxy for the first time at length this week, and it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Cool.
But Odyssey is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean that's a game we've definitely both played to death. Fantastic game, really love it. But I thought there was some critics of that. Clearly, only 3 of them out of 100.
Yeah,
that's incredible. 97.
97.
Wow.
At 94. What's at 94? Do you think?
Well, if it's not any of the ones I just said, it's going to be.
Wait, what did you say? Recount what you said.
Recount what I said. Original Mario 3 and Mario 64.
Yeah, 64.
Yep.
Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Advanced for Super Mario Bros. 3.
So it is the best port of Super Mario Bros. 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that sits at 94.
I would agree with that.
And then
Actually, I think Mario 64 is not a great game, but we'll get onto that at a different time. At me.
We will get onto that in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. And then at 93, third place, joint third place.
Joint third place. It's got to be there somewhere. It's going to be Super Mario Brothers.
No, it's not.
No, is it something like Sunshine?
No, I don't think Sunshine. I didn't see Sunshine.
Middling game.
Yeah, it's not middling. It's divisive.
Is it one of the new 2D platformers? One of the new ones, or the U, or the Deluxe, or any of them?
Oh, I thought you were like, is Sunshine?
No, Sunshine.
Like
I know what Sunshine is.
No,
That's
Sunshine
a different game.
Yeah.
That's an entirely separate game.
So it is. No, I'll break it for you.
Yeah.
Paper Mario. The first Paper Mario.
Not Thousand Year Door. Yeah.
Not Thousand Year Door. Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah.
Which was the last one before Odyssey.
Yeah.
On the Wii U.
That was the proper 3D platformy one.
Yeah, it was
Was that Catsuits?
Catsuits. Yeah.
That's Furry Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really excited for that to come out on Switch.
Yeah.
Really cannot wait to play that.
Okay.
Because I've heard really good things. I mean,
It's there, apparently, yeah.
yeah. And finally, Mario Kart Super Circuit.
The Game Boy?
The Game Boy Advance one.
Wow.
Arguably the last true Mario Kart game. Because obviously after that, it was Double Dash. And then it was
Wii
all 3D,
and
all 3D from there.
Wii DS.
Well, I should say the last Super Mario Kart.
So the last one that was anything like the original SNES Super Mario Kart. Yeah.
I had that game and it was phenomenal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll stick it on my list.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I'm a big fan of original Mario Kart. I got a SNES Mini. It's sat there. Last year before, and played that to death. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, you'll love Super Circuit then.
Cool.
It's great. It's the best. It's just so good. So good. It's the first Mario Kart game I ever played. And I remember playing Double Dash after it and being like, oh, this is amazing. It's in 3D.
Yeah.
And then went back to it. There's just so much to it. There's so many tracks. It's got all of the 64 and Super Mario Kart tracks on it. And it just does phenomenal things with the hardware.
Cool.
It's really good. I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. I always assumed that would be one of the worst ones. I feel like racing on the Game Boy is never what.
Well, it isn't. It's racing. I had a couple of racing games on the GBA, and it's just shite.
Yeah.
But Super Circuit, it's just so good for what it is. It's so good.
Excellent.
If you enjoyed playing Super Mario Kart,
It's a great game. Yeah.
It will
It'll blow that out of the water.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it has basically the entirety of Super Mario Kart in it anyway.
Yeah.
So I just dropped my pencil. It was embarrassing, wasn't it? Don't do that. Right. Worst. Okay.
I'm not going to know any of these. There's so many of them. Are there any names that I recognise?
Well, no. I'm supposed to know
as someone who knows a bit about Mario games, as someone who's got a bit more knowledge than a layman, will I recognise any of these?
You could potentially work it out. Yeah. And also, there's two questions here. There's the score as well.
Yeah.
So see if you can guess what the lowest score is.
I don't think this is going to fall in the same vein as like the Warriors we did last time.
That was what, 48?
48. That was 48 to 70 something. It was fairly close. I think this is going to be a massive margin.
A massive gump.
A massive gump. I think is something I was going to say. There's going to be an absolutely massive gump in the differences between these stores.
Gap, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to be
Man.
Gump Man. Is that what Wario was called?
You got your Jump Man and your Gump Man.
I reckon it's going to be in the 20s.
20s?
Yeah, I reckon there's some very bad. If there's that many games, just slapping. They're not all the same game. They're completely random games with Mario's face slapped on the front.
Yep.
There's going to be some absolute turds in there.
Okay.
26.
Okay. Do you want to hazard a guess at what that game might be out of your knowledge?
I still think it's Mario Teaches Typing.
Right. Absolutely not.
Miles off?
Yeah. So the lowest is 54.
That's really good.
Yeah. That's not. That's
a playable
game. Yeah.
It's not one I particularly enjoy playing, but it's a playable game.
No. I'm really surprised. So the worst on Metacritic is 54, and it's Mario Party Advance.
Okay. There's a lot of Mario parties. One of them's probably going to be no good.
Yeah, and Game Boy Advance probably not the best place.
It's not a good party game.
Yeah, no, not at all. You want
Didn't
a party
even clock
game.
That.
Yeah, you want a party game on a big TV.
Yeah,
you don't want it on
pass around the smallest screen.
What, a 32-bit console with the tiny. I mean, I didn't actually look up when it came out, but if it came out during the original Advance, you're not going to have a party game with a non-backlit.
Yeah, to make sure the lights are on so you can enjoy a party.
Exactly.
In a well-lit room.
Don't
have any music playing so you can turn up the sound on the GBA.
Yeah. So
wow, yeah, no, that's just bad concept.
I also have the penultimate worst and the threnultimate.
The Threnultimate, yeah.
Yep, the third worst.
Mm-hmm.
I won't spoil it for. I'm not going to ask you to guess the score because it's 55. But take another stab at what you think might the worst be, and it's not Mario teaches typing.
That's a great game, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, there is so much. I need a little bit of help here. Give me. Is it a platform game? Is it a sports game? Is it a?
It's a sports. There are sports in it.
There are sports in it.
Yep. There's some sports.
Give me a rough era.
There's a runny man.
There's a runny man.
Well, he's not a man. Yeah, that's
none of this has helped me at all.
Yeah, that's a real red herring. He's not a man at all, but he does run.
Oh. Oh. Is it Mario and Sonic?
It is.
At the whatever Olympic Games?
It is Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014
Winter Olympic Games.
Yeah. That was it. And then finally, the third worst, I'm not going to bother with this at all. 57, Mario Party Island Tour on the DS.
Similar problem. Yeah. This has got a backlight now.
Yep.
That's worth 2 points.
Yep. There's a touchscreen. Great, still not a good place for a party game. So there you go. There, I hope. Is there anything there aside from the answers to the pub quiz? Because I'm not going to expect you to know specific Metacritic scores.
Although I did
of the entire anthology.
I did pretty much nail that for the Warriors series.
You did, yeah, you did. Strangely enough. So you're 1 for 2. Yeah. Did I teach you anything that you didn't know?
You did. You taught me several things I didn't know. I thought I was fairly knowledgeable, weirdly, about Mario.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's not a property that I particularly. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew Mario. I'll play the Mario thing. It's just like I say, it's just something that happens, and you'll play some games happen to be good, and they happen to have Mario in them.
Yeah.
They tend to be games that Nintendo puts a bit of money into if they're big releases.
Yeah.
So they'll be worth playing.
If you think about it, the way that we kind of described it earlier, and the way that I guess Miyamoto wanted him for, it's actually quite a good business model.
Yeah.
Creating like a mascot for a company and then just building games and slapping him on it.
And if you know straight from, if you start that business model early, and then stick with it, people know exactly what they're getting into. Yeah. And you can make whatever game you want to make.
Basically.
As long as there's a Mario, and maybe if you jumps, you get a bonus.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to.
Oh, fuck, we've broken it.
We have.
We've broken the games.
Right, let's make some games. Let's make a likable mascot, and then literally anything you like. I think you have to have that as a model, though. You couldn't.
Well, how the hell did they make an Italian? Let's put it this way: a rotund Italian plumber. Wait, what? Why is that likable?
Who knows? I think the only reason that he's likable is because Super Mario Bros. Existed. It's the original NES game, and it was a really well put together game at a time where there were a bit few and far between.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they refined his occupation from carpenter, and then a year later, oh shit, not carpenter, plumber.
Get out here, plumber now.
That's it. Yep.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
No. Yeah. Well, they did it.
Yeah.
Well done. Happy anniversary, Mario. Mario.
And your twin. Okay, they're twin brothers, by the way.
The twin brothers.
Yeah. But even though one
Mario's older, surely.
No, apparently they're twin brothers. They were born at the same time.
Literally exactly the same second.
Yeah, by storks.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's Super Mario Bros. 3.
I thought Yoshi's Island, isn't it?
Yeah,
Super Mario World 2, that would be.
That's it, yeah.
Well got you. See? Mario knowledge is in there.
No, you know what it was? It was Super Mario Advance 3. Super Mario Bros. 2, Yoshi's. What was that about? Just
Mario names are a nightmare, and they continue to this day to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I strongly disagree with their naming conventions.
The only thing that actually sticks is their 3D games. Because they actually...
Because they give them different names.
Yeah, different names. And you know what? Let's use that as a segue into this week.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know where this is going.
This week! So Joe, what's been going on with you this week?
What's been going on with me? I have been... There was... Again, we're recording this a little bit late, so I'm using stuff that is not necessarily the newest news. But there's been a couple of little tidbits of like Marvel casting news recently.
Oh yeah.
So they have announced 2 characters that now have actors. One, I have entirely forgotten who they've cast, but they've cast Kang the Conqueror.
Have they?
They have. Is this news to you?
Yeah,
so
this is
they
news
have
to me.
cast Kang the Conqueror is going to be in Ant-Man 3.
I didn't know this.
And I'll tell you who it is. The reason I've forgotten him is because I happen to have not seen him in anything. Jonathan Majors is the guy that's
Name rings a
playing him.
bell. What else has he been in?
So according to IMDb, he is known for Lovecraft Country on HBO. He's known for The Last Black Man in San Francisco, White Boy Rick, When We Rise. I think he was in Da 5 Bloods as well. He happened to be films or properties I've not seen him in. So I'm pretty excited about that.
You say that as if like you've seen those properties, but
I just didn't notice.
You didn't. No, you didn't see him.
I didn't see him.
No,
I watched the whole thing and just closed my eyes whenever it was on screen.
Yeah.
No, I happen to not have seen any of this thing, so I don't have any strong feelings about his casting. They tend to nail it.
Yeah.
The other piece of casting that I'm more excited for is they've cast She-Hulk for the Marvel Plus series that they're doing, Disney Plus series that they're doing.
Really?
They have.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's not going to come out for years because everything's been pushed back, and She-Hulk was one of the last ones on the slate.
Yep.
But they have cast Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk, which is, as far as I'm concerned, absolutely genius casting. So she's not known for a huge number of things, but the one thing that she did was Orphan Black. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No.
If you haven't, you should. This is what I've been doing this week. Is I've been rewatching Orphan Black. It is absolutely incredible show that's gone under a couple of radars.
Yeah.
The premise of it is that, I mean, with mild spoilers, you'd learn this kind of midway through the first season.
Mm-hmm.
But the premise of the show is it's a kind of sci-fi show about clones.
Okay.
And so Tatiana Maslany plays 5 of the main cast plus a whole load of like recurring and one-off characters, and she does it so incredibly well that one of the most common comments you see about the show is that you forget that it's one actor that's playing all these things. A lot of props go to the direction and the VFX to go into doing it.
Yeah,
but
still.
she so fully inhabits these completely separate roles who are like well-developed characters.
How many of them are? Three.
So there's basically a ton of them.
Yeah, because you usually get you always see like actors getting huge praise when they just play 2 different characters.
Yeah, so there are.
Like I remember Face Off getting like.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
There are. I want to say there's 4 main characters, then becomes 5 like main series cast, and a small handful of like recurring characters, and in different episodes there'll be kind of one-off other clones, and you pop up as, hey, it's a clone. You can tell because it's Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah.
But it's a different character now.
That's interesting.
But it's incredible. I've just been rewatching that. I think it's an incredible piece of casting, and there's obviously a duality to She-Hulk as a character.
Yeah.
And even though I can't picture Maslany in either of the roles of lawyer Jennifer Walters, did I get that right? Is that someone else? I'm gonna say yes, Jessica Walters, the lawyer part of She-Hulk, or Big Green She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't necessarily see her as either that character or as She-Hulk in Big Green mode.
Yep.
But because she does in literally just this one show so many different roles flawlessly, and to a point that you forget it's the same actor. Absolutely. Throw her at it. She'll do it and she'll nail it. Yeah. Like there are amazing moments in the show that there's like a few really great, aside from the great writing which there is and story which there is, in terms of just kind of spectacle that they do always kind of subtly. It's never like shoved in your face. Just moments where 2 of her will hug or interact in some way, and it doesn't. You don't even think about it.
It's like I watched Back to the Future Part 2, and they had 2 Emmett Browns, 2 Doc Browns next to each other, and the way that they had one of them hand the other one a tool was by having reach behind a telephone a lamppost, and it's very obviously like
someone else's arm cut down the middle of the screen.
Yeah, and it just looks really weird because it looks like where the arm would kind of come up, he puts it up at the elbow, but for some reason his elbow is like at his shoulder. It just looks weird.
Yeah, so we've moved on a little bit from there.
Yeah, it's a tad.
But there's those moments, and there's also moments where she'll be playing one of the clones, acting as one of the other clones for different reasons, and it's so immediately obvious that it's that character playing in that way. It's incredible acting, and she's amazing in it, and it just makes me really excited for She-Hulk.
Where can you see this on?
So I think it's on Netflix.
Yep.
It used to be on other things as well, but it should still be on Netflix. It's a BBC America show. Could not recommend it enough.
Cool.
It is absolutely fantastic show. I've just been rewatching that and being excited for a Disney Plus show that will come out in the next 6 years.
Yeah, at some point.
Who
knows?
Yeah. What have you been up to, Harry? You been playing any kind of like Mario games?
No, not really. I don't know what would make you say that.
No, fair enough. All right.
No. I've been playing the we talked about this at some point before. Super Mario 3D All Stars.
Yeah,
came out nearly 2 weeks ago. But yeah, no, I've been playing that, and it's damn good.
Yeah.
It's it's three of their 3D classics. The first 3D game. Did you hear that?
Yeah, absolutely heard that.
That was my stomach.
Do you want a snack?
No.
Have a snack before you nap.
I mean, it's time of recording. We'll just go to sleep. No. So the only we've spoken about this before, but the only 3D game, the first 3D game that I ever really properly played was Odyssey. And
3D Mario game, not the first 3D game you've ever played.
Yeah, the first 3D Mario game I ever played was Odyssey. And up until that point, I've just not understood. I think that opened my kind of mind
to the idea of
just Mario in general.
Yeah.
Like Odyssey is such a wacky, ridiculous game. It's like the epitome of what Mario is all about. It's just putting Mario in situations.
Yeah.
And it's kind of made me want to go back and play the likes of Galaxy 2, Sunshine, and 64.
And 3D World should it happen.
But yeah, so 3D All Stars.
Yeah.
3D All Stars
is 3 games packaged in one.
Exactly. It was tailor made. Yeah. And I played a little bit of Sunshine, but then just gone balls deep into Galaxy.
Excellent. Good game.
It's fantastic.
97 on Metacritic.
Exactly.
Metacritic, what do you say?
Metacritic. It does use motion controls.
Yeah.
But they've tried to make it as optional as possible. Excellent. Obviously things like the menu and
similar to like Odyssey.
Kind
where
of.
You can use motion controls, it gives you a bit of enhanced rather than necessary.
Yeah, so the actual most of the gameplay, like the core gameplay, the things like running around, the attack and stuff, can all be done on buttons. There's a couple of instances where they're like, well, we actually physically cannot do this without motion controls. Like, for instance, the menus, they're all Wii menus.
Yeah.
So they've had to do it for that.
Yeah.
But it's almost as if they've tried as hard as they can to negate motion controls where they can. Still include them for those insane people who like them.
Yeah, the wrong'uns.
Yeah, the wrong'uns.
Yeah.
And for the bits where they use like a cursor, there are times where you need to use the cursor, so therefore you use the motion controls or the touch screen. So you can really cheese some of the.
I bet you can.
Some of the sequences just using the touch screen, because it was obviously designed with a fucking IR remote in mind. So yeah, really good. Sunshine was really good. 64. Fuck me, it's an awful camera. So it is basically just emulators.
Yeah.
They've not remastered it. They've just bunged ROMs onto a cartridge
and thrown an HD shader on it.
Yeah. Galaxy looks incredible. Sunshine looks really good. 64. It's not even a high resolution. It's a 4x3 box.
Really?
Yeah. It's in HD, but
each individual texture is in HD on the same polygons.
Yeah, and it looks awful. Yeah. I will probably try and play through that game.
I'm sure I will at some point, but the points that I have tried, I've got it on 64. Bought it only a few years ago and put it down straight away.
It's a rough game.
If you disagree, yell at me.
Yeah, it's. I reckon it is the epitome of a nostalgic game. If you have nostalgia for that game,
I'm sure you absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I can 100% recognize the significance of it, because it was one of the first proper 3D platformers, and so many
and the one
games
with the biggest impact for sure.
Exactly. But my God, is it rough going back to?
If you're for a first time player, no good.
Yeah, and I tried to break into that game multiple times. I had it on the DS. I've got it now. I've tried it on a ROM. On an emulator. And no. So that's pretty much
worth a play.
Yeah,
is it worth the price of admission?
100%.
3D All Stars.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do about Galaxy 2, because if they've done Galaxy, they've got to do number 2.
Hopefully they'll just do it at a reduced price.
Yeah.
And slap it on the same thing. I understand why they didn't roll 2 games of the same franchise into a 3-game thing.
But hopefully, I mean, the fact that 3D World is on its way.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be on its way as well.
Yeah. Well, as you say, it may well be things that I pick up. Yeah. Something can get you through the rest of this pandemic.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah, that's probably a good place to end.
Yeah. Well, you've had my update, you've had Hal's update,
and you've had the rant, and you've had the class. So
those. Yeah. Sorry, we did those as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how this podcast is structured. And I guess this is now the end.
The end.
Wait, Goodbye. Before we have to,
we should
do the plugs.
We should do the plugs. Hal, if people want to reach us at the podcast, how would they go about doing such a thing?
So we have our own email.
We do have our own email
address. That is pod@classflack.com. Send us an email if you want, I guess. Don't have to, though.
Send us an email. Just get in contact. We want to know who's listened to this. If you have any opinions about, if you disagree with any of our rants, if you have any insights into any of our classes, if you want to pose a question to Bruce, let us know. We'll ask him. We'll ask him live on air.
Yeah. Next week we'll be recording at mine next week, so he will be there.
You've got a week. Send us an email.
Hopefully, if he hasn't actually officially flown the nest,
which is very possible. At this point. So send us an email, pod@classflack.com.
That's it. Where can we reach you, Joe?
If you want to talk to me directly, you can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on YouTube at Joe Goddard Music. That's Joe, just J-O. Joe Goddard Music. I have to, for anyone who is popping in, if I don't explain how I spell my name,
it's not so much about the explanation. It was
it the delivery,
the enunciation.
I am so tired. Please let me sleep. How? Where can we reach you?
So you can either find me on my Instagram, which is at Hal Dimond. That's DIMOND. Or at my Twitter, which is Hal_Dimond. Or on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Hal Dimond.
Which you may well be watching this on now. If you are and you've made it this far, thank you so much for giving us views. Yeah. Or if you're listening, thank you so much for sticking with us.
Yeah,
drop us a comment on YouTube if you're listening, and even a subscribe if you might.
Maybe
a like.
Or alternatively, you could subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and give us a rate.
That would be wonderful if you could.
Give us a rate. It gives you the option to choose between 1 and 5, but actually, if you pick 5, that's the only one that works.
1 to 4 are actually dummy options. And that will send a message to Apple that your phone or your iPad is open for viruses, and they will just ship them down the line. So best to click 5. Because honestly, who knows what could happen?
This is just giving me flashbacks to that one company that we used to work for.
This used to be our job. Literally, both of our job used to be convincing people that the 5 button was the only button you should press. So do it. Yeah, absolutely do it. I actually have a nice review. Do you have a nice review? I have a nice review. Oh, wonderful. It's probably by someone we know. Yeah. Is that on Apple? I don't own an Apple device, so I don't see any of this. This is true. Where's there we are. Yeah, so I have a nice review from Buddy Cornwall. I don't know who that is, but 10 on great podcast, 5 stars, 10 on 10, outstanding podcast. Thank you, Buddy Cornwall. Thank you, mysterious Buddy Cornwall. I don't know immediately who you are. I know who that is. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mum. It's not. No. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you for listening. Yeah, wonderful to have you. We'll catch you next week. Yeah. Bye 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 bye. What you said.